Wow, what a transfer window. I can't remember a winter transfer window going so mad on deadline day. Obviously, there have been some other big windows, but we've got to talk about Chelsea. This has been a winter window of Chelsea. To be fair, it's been 6 months now since the beginning of the season in the summer to now spending over 600 million euros. We have to talk about Chelsea. They're going to be the main subject in this video, but I'm going to cover all of the other big transfers that have gone through. And right at the end, we'll cover some of the other ones that I haven't featured. But Enzo to Chelsea for 120 million euros. It's mind-boggling. It really is. Now, first of all, yes, I'm salty. Yes, I'm jealous. Everyone, other than Chelsea fans, are mad right now. Okay, why wouldn't we be? This is ridiculous. Over 600 million euros has been spent in 6 months, and if you really boil it down to actual time, it's about 2 months of transfer windows, isn't it? 2.5 months, 3 months max. It's an absolutely ridiculous, bonkers amount of money. That's the kind of money that teams spend over a few years, let alone 2 transfer windows. They've effectively brought in an entire new squad. And, everyone's saying, how are they not going to get done by FFP? Surely this isn't right. Surely it's not legal. Well, it is. It's all legal. Okay, even if it's breaching FFP, what's going to happen? A transfer ban? Who cares? They've already signed a whole new squad. They could go another year or two without signings. They'd probably be fine. They've literally signed a new starting 11. What's the problem with that? They might get fined some money. Well, clearly, money isn't an issue. The only punishment that could affect Chelsea, and I mean affect them badly, would be a points deduction, but they're not going to do that. What they've done, Chelsea, is, I hate to use the word smart, but it is. Realistically, if every club knew about these loopholes at the beginning of the window, the beginning of the summer window, half the league would have been doing it. Now, most clubs, I don't think Arsenal would have done it because they're trying to be sensible in the windows. What Chelsea have done is great right now, but it's high risk for the future. I'll talk about why in a moment, but I see other clubs like City maybe City wouldn't do it. They have actually been very good over the last few years, making sure their net spend is pretty much zero. But I think United would have done it. For sure, promoted clubs would have done it. What Chelsea have done is they have spread costs out over 6, 7, 8 years using abnormally long contracts, and already they're trying to shut this down. 8.5-year deal for Enzo, 8.5-year deal for Mudryk. It is absolutely incredible, and it's so risky. It's very risky because down the line, they're going to have players on their books that might not even be good for the club anymore. Imagine if Mudryk flops, imagine if Enzo flops and they're worth 30 million in a couple of years' time, yet they've still got them tied down for another 5 years. It's going to be an awkward one, let's face it. But what they've done right now is it's pretty smart. So it's jealousy. It is. Arsenal fans, I'm seeing a lot of how could they do that? They're going to get smacked down by FFP. Even if they do, which they won't, it doesn't matter to them. As long as it's not a points deduction, they win. I'm telling you, in a couple of years' time, if Chelsea have got this right, which I think, most of these signings have been pretty good, smart signings. Mudryk is going to be a good player. We can all see it. Enzo, you saw at the World Cup. You've seen at Benfica for the last 6 months or so. Incredible talent. I think Madueke is a very smart deal, and that wasn't even breaking the bank. Fofana in the summer, he's going to be a good player. They've made some smart decisions. I don't think all of them are going to work out, but I think what we're going to see in a couple of years' time is a very strong squad. And whether that's with Potter or most likely with a new manager, they're building for the future, and it's frightening. It really is. But 120 million euros, it is a world record here in Britain. And Enzo will be joining Chelsea, and it's an astronomical fee. It really is. Now, going the other way, Ziyech was meant to be leaving. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is because, not just because the deal broke down, but it's how. How did this deal break down? Now, I'm hearing this is really dirty, and it stinks of... I think Chelsea have done this on purpose. So apparently, and of course, it's just rumours, it's what I've read online, but the documents that Chelsea had to send to PSG to get this deal done were incorrect papers. Not once, not twice, 3 times Chelsea sent documents over to PSG to get the move done, and each time they were not the correct papers. And before you know it, deadline day has finished. I'm just going to say this now. This is going to be investigated for sure. I think PSG will be absolutely furious. Ziyech was in Paris. He was ready. He was doing his medical. And Chelsea fumbled the deal out of nowhere. Apparently, Potter really likes Ziyech. He doesn't want him to go. I just have a bad feeling that Chelsea have done one over on PSG here. I really do. It's shameful if it's true. And I hope it's not, because Ziyech, he's done nothing wrong at Chelsea. He might not have been an absolute superstar winning games for them week in, week out, but he's a professional. He wanted to get his move to PSG. I don't blame him. Have you seen the amount of players that Chelsea have signed, especially in forward positions? I don't blame him at all. Hopefully, it's not true. Now, another big move that I was impressed with was McKennie. He's on loan at Leeds from Juventus for the rest of this season with a buy option of around 40 million package I'm seeing here from Fabrizio. I like this deal. Leeds have got a few Americans at the club already, players and staff. The manager, Jesse Marsch, is obviously American, and they are, I think, very good young players. You know, I'm a big fan of Aronson. I think he's a great player, and Adams as well. And I think if they are going to be continuing to play the system they play now, I think McKennie is going to slot in very, very nicely. It's a good signing. Of course, they brought in the young French striker. Is it Rutter? So Leeds, I think, have done well. I actually think this could be the key to them staying up, and I kind of hope they do. This one blew my mind. So Man City have had a very quiet window, and that's quite usual for City. They don't typically do business in the winter window. No one really knows why. They're pushing for the Premier League title. They're still, I think, favourites to win the title as it stands right now. But they've let Cancelo go. Now, when I saw this pop up, the first thing that came to mind was they haven't let him go because he's not good enough. Obviously, that's not true. He's been arguably the best. Well, is he a left back or a right back these days? The best fullback in the world, you could argue, over the last few seasons, at least last season. He was absolutely vital for what Man City did. He was so good playing at left back with his outside the boot crosses. He's creative, he gets goals. He is your instant guaranteed success in FPL. Why would you let him go? Well, the reports are that he fell out with Pep. Apparently, he was frustrated with not getting selected. He told Pep that he would leave, and Pep said, go on then. No one's bigger than the club. Now, what I would say to this is, one, Pep's right. No one's bigger than the club. But two, if you're chasing, in this case, Arsenal for the title, you do not let arguably your most important defender go. I mean, he is a huge part of what they do. But clearly Pep thinks they will do fine without him. They haven't replaced him. I guess they didn't have time. And he's let him go. Apparently, it was the Arsenal game that really buried it for Cancelo. He wasn't selected for the Arsenal game, and that was it. He was straight to his agent and said, I want to get out of here. Bayern swooped in. What a deal this is. Bayern, they've got some players at fullback now, haven't they? Davies on the left, Cancelo on the right. You can swap them around because Davies is obviously a bit injury prone. He had some heart issues. They've got Pavard in there. They've got the Moroccan, what's his name, Mazraoui. They've got some really good options there. And it's £70 million. So it's a loan for the rest of the season. And I don't know if it's an obligation to buy, but 70 million euros, I think it might be, to sign him permanently, which, I mean, they'd be stupid not to. Even if he doesn't have the best 6 months ever as he's settling in, it's a ridiculously good deal for Bayern. Now, Tottenham were up and down with this deal. Pedro Porro has signed. It was very up and down, as in deal was off, deal was on, deal was off. They got it done on deadline day, and I actually rate this signing very highly. What's very strange to me is how they've got it done. They let an Arsenal fan go. Doherty, who obviously signed from Wolves, and famously they put up the promotional video of his signing with him deleting past tweets where he said he supports Arsenal, he loves the Gunners, and it was hilarious as an Arsenal fan. We've all known he's an Arsenal fan since he signed. They've terminated his deal to get Pedro Porro in, and I think I got the deal, where have I put it? This one here. Matt Doherty has terminated his contract at Tottenham as he joins Atletico Madrid on a free move. What's with Atletico Madrid and having ex-Tottenham right-backs? It's a fascinating one, but I don't understand this. It was clearly a bit of a panic moment. They couldn't get the deal done with Pedro Porro. Maybe it wasn't due to having Doherty there, but clearly they wanted to make some space in the squad. They've just terminated the deal, which typically means Both parties have mutually decided that there's going to be no fee paid for it. They just stop. They just cease working together. Contract is ripped up. Normally, in this case, if you wanted to get a free move to Atletico Madrid from Tottenham, you're under contract. Someone has to pay those wages that you're owed unless you mutually decide to terminate. And clearly, this wasn't a good move for his career. Going to Tottenham, why would you do that as an Arsenal fan? Shocking. But Pedro Porro, great signing. And Atletico Madrid getting Doherty, one to watch out for. I've got a feeling he'll do quite well there. He was amazing at Wolves. But you would have just seen it there as well. I've got Sabitzer moving to Manchester United, another one that I wanted to talk about. I mentioned it in the Jorginho signing for Arsenal video. I was confused as to why maybe more clubs weren't interested in Sabitzer, including Arsenal, because he's a great midfielder. And it's just a simple 6-month loan or rest of the season loan with no obligation to buy him or nothing like that. I think Bayern just wanted to just retain him as an asset, but let him go and get some game time. Manchester United got him. I think this was due to Eriksen picking up an injury for at least a couple of months, right? So awful timing for Manchester United to lose a midfielder with just a few days left in the window, but they've done a good job. Sabitzer is going to be a good player for them. And yeah, I mean, they could have done better if they planned the window more. I think they could have absolutely brought in a permanent midfielder, but that's not what they've done. Now, this one absolutely blew my mind as well. What is going on in football? How is Navas, one of the best keepers, at least a top 20 keeper over the last decade or so, how has he ended up at Nottingham Forest? I don't understand this at all. It happened quite late. Again, it was another one of those deals that was off, then it was on. I think was it PSG had to get rid of at least one player or something. I think it was Ander Herrera, who's obviously not at the club anymore, but was still owned by PSG. They sold him, and that enabled this. I don't really understand. I think Athletic Bilbao got the player permanently now, Ander Herrera. So it's something to do with balancing the books. I don't know, but Navas for Nottingham Forest. Who saw that one come in? And then last one that I want to talk about is Skriniar. He is going to PSG in the summer. The reports were that they could pay a little bit now, PSG, and have him this January. It's been a very publicly known thing that Skriniar wants PSG, but Inter weren't willing to sell him. He's going for a free, which is crazy because a year, 2 years ago, I think Skriniar is a 60, 70, maybe even 80 million pound player. So they've really lost a superb player. And he'll do very well at PSG. I'm guessing they're seeing him as almost a Ramos replacement. Yeah, I think he'll do very well. But what we can do now is just go through the top deals of the window that I haven't talked about. Gakpo, of course, going to Liverpool was huge. He hasn't scored yet. Hasn't set the league on fire just yet, but I think he will probably do very well for Liverpool. Anthony Gordon's gone to Newcastle, which was, I think it was a bit of a weird one for me, at least, because it was a linked move in the summer, but it was more Chelsea who wanted him, but clearly Chelsea don't need him now, and Newcastle have gone in for him. 45 million euros. It's not too bad, is it? We talked about Badiashile and Madueke before. Jorginho to Arsenal. Danjuma was fantastic, really, because he was going to Everton, he was having his medical, and then Tottenham called, and he just drove down to North London and signed for them instead. Obviously, I'd rather he went to Everton because he's a great player, but it is quite funny. I'm sorry, Everton, but imagine having a player literally in Liverpool, having a medical, and then he drives down and signs for Tottenham. I'd be furious. I really would be. Guedes to Benfica on loan was a strange one. Wasn't expecting to see that. He only just joined Wolves at the beginning of the season. Sulemana going to Southampton. They've also signed Onuachu as well, the big striker, like 6'8" striker. So they're going to go with absolute pace down the wings and then cross it in, right? Arsenal target Danilo ended up going to Nottingham Forest. Again, was a little bit, I guess, sad about that one because I quite liked the thought of getting someone like Danilo. Not that I've seen him much, but any young Brazilian coming from the Brazilian league, you know what to expect. It's kind of exciting, isn't it? One of the future centre-back stars from FM, Zabani. He's gone to Bournemouth. Bournemouth have been doing really well, to be fair. They've brought in some really good players. I think that's pretty much all I'm going to talk about here. Like, they brought in Traore as well. I think that's going to be about 30 million euros, right? In the summer when they actually pay it. He's just on loan at the moment. I think in general, guys, this window has been absolutely crazy. But the main talking point, of course, has to be with Enzo. It's huge for Chelsea. It really is. They're sitting 10th in the league right now. Surely, if they can't fight out of 10th with this squad now, there's going to be a gelling period. There's going to be, some chemistry issues with these players not knowing each other and stuff. But when it bonds, when it works, it's frightening, isn't it? But I will say this: Chelsea now have a massive, massive risk. If they don't get Champions League football this season, or minimum next season, they're going to be in big trouble. Because if you look into how clubs make their money, a lot of it is, of course, merchandise and selling tickets and things like that. But the majority of money coming in for the top clubs is Champions League football. Getting Champions League football can be the difference in so many different ways. I think it's almost 100 million, just over 100 million. If Chelsea don't get that Champions League football, which they're banking on with these kind of deals, they are going to breach FFP. 100%. FFP is you can only spend what you earn. If they miss out on Champions League this season, I'm telling you, they're in big trouble. This will bite them. I'm almost guaranteeing in a couple of years' time, they might be playing well. They might be in the Champions League. They might be making just about enough. But this is a long haul project now. They've invested a lot of money. They won't be able to repeat this window again. If they've got this wrong, they've got it wrong badly.